Good morning. It's January 6th, 2025, and today I'm going to take my car on a road trip from Irvine, California to North Dakota. So, just to give you an idea how to set up this trip, we just go to Navigate and set our destination in here. It's going to be real easy. It's going to find all the chargers that we need for our trip and tell us how long we need to stop at each one. And we can go in there and modify it later if we need to. But now it's planning our trip with all the chargers, and it's also going to take into account factors like weather, wind, speed on the highway, all of the external factors to give us a pretty good estimate of what we're going to get to at each charger. So for instance, now it says our first charger is going to be Baker, which is 2 hours and 34 minutes away, 178 miles, and we're going to arrive there at 13% in theory at 7:29 a.m. And the other thing we can do is come in here, trip. I made a trip from California to North Dakota. See, it says 0 miles, 0 kilowatt hours, 0 watt hours per mile. So we'll be able to follow our trip. And then I made a trip for the current leg that we're on. So I'll reset that on every leg so we can see how our efficiency goes. Now, as we get, it is North Dakota, so it's wintertime. It's going to get colder and colder as we go along. So we're going to be able to see how our efficiency changes depending on weather, wind, temperature, that sort of thing. So I charged the car to almost 100%. It looks like it's still finishing charging. It says it still needs 30 minutes, but it's at 99% already. And 99% on this car is only 258 miles because we have 133,000 miles on this car. So this will be a good idea of how it is to road trip a high mileage Tesla. This is from 2018, so it's about 6 years old, actually almost 7 now, or 6.5 probably. And we'll see how this thing does on a road trip. 258 miles is our charge. Again, this car is degraded quite a bit already because it started at 310 miles when I bought it brand new. So it's down about, 50 miles, I guess. So all right, we'll catch up with you on the road. All right, so we made it to Baker, California Supercharger. We arrived at 2%, and it says for the current leg we drove 180 miles, used 57 kilowatt hours at a rate of 317 watt hours per mile. So this will give us a pretty good baseline for this battery because we drove from 100% to 2%. And I'm also going to take a look at Scan My Tesla here and see how the battery looks. Okay, so just going through Scan My Tesla here with the battery at 2%. It says the battery voltage is 306. Just going to go through the highlights here. Max pack voltage 402 volts, 241 is the min. Let's see. Nominal full pack 63.2 kilowatt hours. Nominal remaining, now that could be important, is 5.88 kilowatt hours. So even though we have 2% battery, we still have 5.8 kilowatt hours remaining. So that means there's a little buffer below zero, and it looks like that buffer is 4.5 kilowatt hours. So that would be enough to drive at least another 10, 12, 15 miles, something like that. SOC 2.2%, usable remaining 1.29 kilowatt hours. Full pack one new 77.8. Cell temps are at 45, and that'll be good because we preconditioned for supercharging, so that'll be good once we get plugged in. That'll be good. And cell volt about 3.18 or so. Cell imbalance 22 millivolts. CAC, which is the calculated amp hour capacity for the minimum, is 181 and 184 for the maximum. That's the different modules in the battery. Imbalance is 3.1 amp hours. Discharge cycle is 854 for this battery. Again, 133,000 on this odometer. So it is not a new battery or a new car. So that'll give us a good baseline for the rest of the trip. And we only have about 16 more charging stops to go, I think, until we get to our destination. So it wants to route us up through Utah and Idaho, Montana to get there. Beautiful morning here in Baker, California. A nice Cybertruck right over there. I'm gonna get the window cleaned off too here. It's hella dirty. All right, well, that didn't take very long. It just said we have enough energy to continue our trip. We're up to 77%. I think that took about 15-20 minutes. So we'll get unplugged and we'll continue on down the road. My breakfast. Okay, I just pulled into North Las Vegas at 21%. This leg we did 98 miles, 33 kilowatt hours, and 338 watt hours per mile. I'll plug in at 9:17 a.m. Alright, we just finished charging. It says you have enough energy to continue your trip. It's 9:37, so we've been here for 20 minutes, and we're already up to 80%. Next stop, I believe, will be St. George, Utah. Alright, let's get on the road. Filled up the tires a few psi, tried to get them right around 45 psi while we're running. That should help our efficiency just a little bit. We're currently doing 78 miles an hour, and our current drive efficiency is not good, actually. 405 watt hours per mile so far. We just started driving. We're probably driving into a little bit of a headwind, and we're going faster than the speed limit. So, and it is also 55 degrees outside. All right, made it to St. George, Utah. 112 miles, 38 kilowatt hours, 339 watt hours per mile. It is 12:08 p.m. and we arrived with 16%. Pretty nice day today. All right, it's 12:29. We're at 80%. It says 1 minute to continue on our trip. And just to give you a little idea of what I'm doing here, I'm just doing exactly what the car says to do as far as the trip plan. So it's telling us to go to Beaver here. It says we're going to get there at 14% at 1:54 p.m. and that's 103 miles away, 1 hour 25 minutes of driving. So I'm just following the car's navigation. It calculates everything for us. It figures out elevation, temperature, winds, everything. It takes all that into account. The only thing it can't take into account is whether you drive faster than the speed limit or slower than the speed limit, and that makes a huge difference on consumption. So even driving 10 over the speed limit makes a big difference. But if you need to get some extra range, you can always slow down, and that makes a huge difference. That's probably bigger than anything else in terms of reducing your consumption. All right, we just got the message. You have enough energy to continue our trip, so we will continue on to Beaver. Nice screens to have here on the Tesla app. This tells you exactly how you're doing on this trip, if you're doing better or worse than projected, and it tells you exactly what's causing you to lose or gain range. So for instance, on this drive, I used 3.1% more for driving. That's usually due to speed. Climate, minus 1.8% because I didn't really use the climate at all. Battery conditioning, 1.1%, so that's getting ready for the next supercharging. It's heating up the battery or cooling it down, whatever it needs to do. Elevation, 0.3%, and everything else 0.2%. And then over here it says staying below 70 miles per hour would have saved 8.5% this trip. So that's a big difference because I'm going 85 instead of 70, so that makes a big difference. And then a 4.4 mile per hour wind from the southeast cost 0.1% this trip. So that was mostly a crosswind, not really a headwind or tailwind. So that didn't make too much difference at all. And then we can come over here to consumption, and this will give us a live projection for the last 5, 10, or 30 miles. How we're doing is in terms of how much range it thinks we have left at our current rate of consumption for the past 5 miles. So it says we can go 66 more miles based on the last 5 miles, which has been about 300 watt hours per mile. So this is a really good screen to use if you need to know about how many more miles you can make it, depending on all of the conditions that are known for the last 5, 15, or 30 miles. So we are just about to get to Beaver, Utah in about 20 minutes, and we're currently at 31%. Pretty nice day here. Looks like there are some clouds ahead. Might be a little flurry or two as we make our way northbound. Okay, I just made it to Beaver with 15%, and it looks like for this current leg we went 103 miles, used 39 kilowatt hours at a rate of 376 watt hours per mile. So far for the entire trip we're almost at 500 miles now. Looks like the next stop after this is going to be Nephi, Utah, at least for now. We might actually get a bigger charge than we need here because I'm planning to eat. There is a restaurant over here called the Timberline Restaurant, so I'm going to give that a try because I haven't had any lunch or any real food yet on this trip, just snacks. So I'm going to go in there and have maybe a salad or something kind of light but hopefully healthy for a road trip, and we'll let this thing charge and we'll just let it get up to how much ever it gets up to by the time I get done eating. All right, we'll talk to you in a bit. All right, I just finished eating my salad and even had some leftovers, and we ended up with 91%. It is 2:22 p.m. We have enough energy to continue our trip. Next stop is going to be Nephi, Utah. Nephi, whatever you call it. All right, and looks like it's starting to get a little cloudy, and maybe we might get some flurries today. We'll see. Still a pretty nice day, though. Okay, we arrived in Nephi, Utah, after 114 miles, 40 kilowatt hours, and 348 watt hours per mile. All right, I'm leaving here a little bit early. It wanted me to charge for another 10 minutes, but I think we'll be good. I left at 82%. It's 4:13 p.m. and it says we'll have 10% when we arrive to Pharr. Well, I managed to hit Salt Lake City at rush hour, so a little bit of traffic here, but at least it's not as bad as LA traffic, so we'll get through it. Starting to get dark out. All right, we made it to the supercharger called Pharr West with 17%, and this leg, 127 miles, 38 kilowatt hours used, and 299 watt hours per mile. A little bit lower than normal. That's probably because of all the traffic. We were drafting lots of other cars in the Salt Lake City metro area. So I'll get plugged in here, and next stop after this is going to be up through Brigham City and then all the way up to Pocatello, Idaho. Let's see here. This next leg is going to be about an hour and 41 minutes and 122 miles. So let's get plugged in here at the V4 supercharger. All right, we finished charging at 6:26 p.m. and we are on our way up to Idaho. Pocatello is the next stop. All right, we made it to Pocatello, Idaho with 6%. We just plugged into a version 2 supercharger, so I'm expecting we're only going to get about 120 to 130 kilowatts. But that's okay. I just need to get up the road to Idaho Falls. So it's only 47 miles. So we're going to go 47 miles, and then we're going to charge again in Idaho Falls, because the next leg after that is going to be a cold, very cold leg to West Yellowstone. And that is where I am going to sleep for the night. I just got a hotel there in West Yellowstone that does have a few Tesla NACS chargers, as well as I believe one J1772 and maybe a few wall plugs as well. So hopefully one of those is going to be available for us. If not, there's also a supercharger right across the street, so we have plenty of options there. And we will arrive to West Yellowstone at it says 11:10 p.m. as of now, so that's a full day of driving. We left LA area at about 5 a.m. and getting here at 11 p.m. at West Yellowstone. So yeah, it's a full day of driving. So far today, 857 miles, and we're not even done yet. It might be over 1,000-mile day for us. In fact, I know it will be. So anyways, this last leg between Pharr West, Utah, and Pocatello, we're looking at 123 miles, 44 kilowatt hours, and 361 watt hours per mile. So quite a bit more. And that's because we started getting a headwind. As you can see in the drive. Oh, okay, it already zeroed out our last drive. But anyways, before it was saying we had a 6 mile per hour headwind coming up here. And also the temperature is getting a little colder. It's down to 30 degrees now. So that is why our consumption is quite a bit higher. So we're just gonna get some charge here so we can get up the road to Idaho Falls. Then we'll do a deeper charge to get all the way to West Yellowstone and call it a night. All right, talk to you in a bit. It is now 8 p.m. All right, on our way to Idaho Falls at 8:16 p.m. Crazy little fog layer here approaching Idaho Falls. All right, we made it to Idaho Falls with more than enough, 26%. And so now I just need to get to my destination for the night, which is West Yellowstone. And unfortunately, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes left to get there. So that's going to take a while. But that will be our destination for the night. And then I'm going to get a good night's rest. So this last leg between Pocatello and Idaho Falls was 48 miles, 18 kilowatt hours, and 382 watt hours per mile. So you see our consumption is getting higher and higher, and the main reason for that, I think the temperature is going down and down. We're at 20 degrees right now and almost 9 p.m. here in Idaho Falls. This charger is at a very inconvenient place. It's located pretty far from the highway, but all the trees around here are still lit up like it's Christmas, so that's kind of cool. There's nobody out here. It feels very dead right now in this town. Even though it's only 9 p.m., it feels like more like the middle of the night. So we'll get charged up here. It says it's going to take about 30 minutes, and then we will head on down the road. It's very cold in West Yellowstone. It's like 10 degrees, so I'm going to make sure that we have enough charge. We'll probably get 80 or 90% before we take off here for this 110-mile leg. Well, we're up at 87%, and I got the message you have enough energy to continue on your trip. I think I'm just going to leave it plugged in a few extra minutes, but we are only getting about 40 kilowatts. I think I'll let it hit 90, and then I'll go ahead and unplug, just because I know it's going to get colder as we continue our drive. It's going to be like 10 degrees once we get to West Yellowstone. Right now here it's 22. So just getting myself a little extra buffer. Right now it says we'll make it with 19%, it thinks, which is pretty high. I have a feeling it'll be down around 10 because of the temperature, but it's supposed to take all those things into account, so we shall see. All right, I'm gonna unplug here in less than 5 minutes, and we'll get on down the road. It is 9:24 p.m. and we should arrive at West Yellowstone. I'm gonna be staying at the Grey Wolf Inn and Suites. There's also a Tesla supercharger right across the street if I need it. It says we'll be there at 11:15. So that'll be a good time to call it a night. All right, talk to you later. Well, my window started fogging up, so I had to turn on the defroster, which turns on the air conditioning. And I set the temperature to 77 degrees, fan speed of 6 or 7, I believe, to try to get this window defrosted. Also, my side windows here are also very fogged up, but I don't need to use the side windows too much at this time. But yeah, it's foggy outside, and now it's getting foggy inside. Interesting. We almost made it to West Yellowstone, just about 4 miles away, and that puts a cap on our day of over 1,000 miles driven in a single day in this Tesla Model 3 from 6 years ago with 134,000 miles. It's pretty good if you ask me. We're at 1,010 miles. I left this morning at 5 a.m. LA time, and now it is 11 o'clock p.m. here in West Yellowstone. They're on Mountain Time, so it's actually only 10 o'clock in California. So that would be 17 hours on the road, including charging stops to go 1,000 miles. Not too shabby. Underground parking at this hotel in West Yellowstone. Very nice. Let's see if they have an EV charger. Alright, looks like they have 3 EV chargers here. That's cool. Gonna get plugged in. Alright, the Tesla wall connectors at the hotel here. 210 volts at 40 amps. That's pretty good. I'm at 21% right now. It says it's only going to take 5 hours and 40 minutes to get to 90%. Not bad, not bad. Parking with car charging. So that was a lifesaver. Good morning from the Grey Wolf underground parking. We are just about ready to head out here. We are at 98%. I charged it to 90 last night, and then when I woke up this morning, I set it to 100. So it says 45 minutes remaining, but we're not going to stay that long. We're at 98%. And looks like we've added 49 kilowatt hours. So this was a nice charge here at this hotel. I'm going to go ahead and take off, continue on up the road to Bozeman. Looks like our first stop is going to be up in Bozeman here, as you can see on the map. It's 1 hour and 46 minutes away, 90 miles, and since we're leaving here with a full charge, it says we're going to get there with 45% remaining. So who knows, maybe we can even skip that charger and go to the next one. So just to look at the full route today, what we're planning to do is, this is in the way of the chargers, but you can kind of see there, we're going first to Bozeman, and then this is Billings, and then it goes over to Miles City, I believe, and maybe that's Glendive, I think, and then Dickinson. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 charging stops. Unless we can skip one this morning, then maybe 4 charging stops today. All right, see you on the road.
In 500 feet, turn left onto South Canyon Street.
Here was my hotel for the night. It's been a nice stay. Beautiful here in West Yellowstone. They have tons of snow, but the roads are cleared off nicely, just packed snow. And right across the street over here is a Tesla supercharger as well.
Now turn left onto South Canyon Street.
Alright, here's the Tesla supercharger. Looks like they have the parking lot cleared off nicely. For anybody who needs to charge, we don't need to charge here today because we have a full charge from the hotel.
Now turn right onto Grey Wolf Avenue.
Alright, we're going to continue on down the road. Beautiful morning here in West Yellowstone. The Trees have a nice dusting of snow. And we're on our way up Highway 191 towards Big Sky and then Bozeman. From there, it'll be all interstate until we reach our destination. So one thing I forgot to do is put cold weather windshield washer fluid in my car. So unfortunately the windshield washer that's in there has frozen. So I'm not able to use my windshield washer fluid until I put some lower temperature stuff in there. So I will try to get some at the next stop here and see if I can fix that problem. In the meantime, I'll just have to spray down the window with my spray bottle and then squeegee it off. We're just pulling into Bozeman now, so we'll see you at the supercharger. Alright, just arrived here to Bozeman at the supercharger. It's in the parking lot of a Hilton Garden Inn. And there's also a gas station across the street, so I'm going to walk over there and see if I can find some low temperature washer fluid. Anyways, we arrived here. I plugged in already about 5 minutes ago. We arrived here with about 47%. And this drive from West Yellowstone to Bozeman was 91 miles, 28 kilowatt hours, 314 watt hours per mile. So surprisingly good efficiency. It is a little warmer right here, which is good. It's up to 32 degrees. So far for the trip, 1,105 miles at 375 kilowatt hours used, 340 watt hours per mile. And we'll go ahead and reset this leg. There we go. Next stop is going to be Billings, Montana. So that's going to be 2 hours and 37 minutes, 149 miles. So that's a very long distance, but luckily it is pretty warm out, so we shouldn't have any issues. We'll get charged up to about 90%, and then it should be no issue at all. So I'm going to go to the gas station over here, grab some things, and we'll get back on the road in about 20 minutes. All right, we're leaving Bozeman with 91% at 11:20 a.m. And let's start our trip down the interstate. Beautiful day here in Bozeman. All right, just plugged in here in Billings. Finally made it at 1:21 p.m. with 5%, quite a bit less than it said we were going to arrive with, but I did drive pretty fast. I was going like 80, 85 most of the way. So for this leg from Bozeman to Billings, we did 151 miles, 50 kilowatt hours at 330 watt hours per mile. Still 30 degrees out, but it's from this point on, it's going to start cooling down quite a bit, down back into the teens again. So let's go ahead and reset this leg. And there we go. And looks like we're getting almost 250 kilowatts here in Billings. This must be a newer supercharger. I know I came here before and I think there was only one supercharger in Billings, and now there's like 3. So this is one of the newer ones. I haven't been to this one yet. The next leg here is kind of a long one as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do another deep charge. And Let's see, how long does it say? 140 miles. So, and it's going to be a little bit colder, so it's going to be another 2 hours. So I'm going to get at least 90+% as for this charge as well. I'm also going to air up my tires a little bit and try to fix the window again. My windshield washer fluid is still not working the best, even though I did buy some antifreeze, which is good to -50. I guess it just hasn't thawed out all the ice that's in the tank yet. So, all right, it's now 1:55 p.m. and we got charged up to 91%. I'm going to go ahead and unplug, and we'll continue to Miles City. It says 1 hour 56 minutes, so basically 2 hours. And it says 140 miles. It says we'll arrive there with 11%, 12% now. Alright, we got plugged in here in Miles City with 6% battery for this leg from Billings to Miles City. 139 miles, 49 kilowatt hours, and 354 watt hours per mile. This supercharger is in the parking lot of a Cenex gas station, and almost got iced by a big rig here hauling a tractor. But here's the supercharger. It's a pretty nice location. I like it when they put them at gas stations, actually, because then you can go and use the facilities or buy snacks, whatever you need to do. So after this fill up, I'm going to go down the road to get some tacos, and then proceed on down the road to the next stop, which is Glendive, Montana. It's only, I think it's only like 80 miles away, so that'll be a nice shorter drive. I'm still going to get, it's getting really cold out though, so I'm going to get at least 80% or more, just so I don't have to worry as much. All right, it's 4:14 p.m. We're at 83%. I'm going to go ahead and unplug and go get my tacos, and then head on down the road towards Glendive. Okay, just pulled into Glendive, Montana with 24%. And let's see what the stats are for this leg. Let's see, stats: 78 miles, 34 kilowatt hours, 438 watt hours per mile. That's a little bit high. Now, that may or may not have been because I drove above the speed limit slightly, just slightly. So it is 5:32 p.m. and it's 17 degrees outside. Next stop is going to be Dickinson, North Dakota. That's going to be kind of a far leg. Oh, actually, no, it's not bad. It's 96 miles. Get a nice charge here, probably 80, 90%, something like that. No hurry, really. Just, it's nice to have a little bit of a buffer when it's this cold out. And I think it's only supposed to get colder as we continue eastbound, so. It says about 25 minutes here. We are in the parking lot of a Holiday Inn right there. So that's nice. If you need to stay or get a coffee or use the restroom, you can just go in there. All right, we have enough energy to continue our trip. I got up to 88%, and it's going to be 96 miles to Dickinson. Says we'll arrive at 13%. Approaching Dickinson, off in the distance, about 10 miles away. All right, just got plugged in here in Dickinson. It is 7:18 p.m. Mountain Time at 14%. And this leg from Glendive to Dickinson was 97 miles, 42 kilowatt hours, 438 watt hours per mile. Now, I didn't really go over the speed limit on this leg. I think the reason was because the temperature, it really got cold. It's down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's the reason for the high consumption. And also I have the heat running, which you really have to because you need to keep the windows defrosted as well. So yeah, not great efficiency. It's almost double the rated range. So Elon, we do need more range. Don't say that it's good enough. We need more. So at 200, just over 200 kilowatts. So this is the last charge for the trip. After this, we'll be at our destination in Bismarck, and then I will wrap up the entire trip. And as you can see, so far this trip we've gone 1,570 miles so far. The average efficiency for the whole trip has been 351 watt-hours per mile. And the odometer on this car is quickly approaching 135,000 miles. And so far it's been nice and reliable. Finally getting to our destination in Bismarck. Destination, 103 miles, 1.28 hours, and 381 watt-hours per mile. So the total trip is 1,673 miles, 590 kilowatt hours, and 353 watt-hours per mile.